We're back.
Did you miss us?
I think they missed
This
you.
episode is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Today's patron of the day is Cody Crow. Patrons get the show always ad-free and access to the extended episode with bonus content. If you don't want to miss all of that, go to patreon.com/calltheline. That's patreon.com/calltheline.
Yo, do it though, please. And we will soon be announcing this month's LineCon Online, which will be the fourth week, the fourth Saturday. We immediately are adjusting the schedule because we're doing a fundraiser for the SSA on the third Saturday. So it's a whole thing. Anyway, we'll be announcing that as well as the Zoom with some creators. So you don't want to miss that, patreon.com/calltheline. Let's get into the news and stuff. But first, run that silly little intro. Here you go, baby. Welcome. It is September 2nd, the 2nd of September. It's actually a little unbelievable. It's already September, especially in Texas, where you go outside and they're like, would you like it to feel like it's mid-July? How's that? There's 98 degrees. We're going to boil your face off.
You know what? Actually, in New York, it's really nice. Like, it's been like in the 50s at night and like 70s in the daytime. It's really lovely.
I think we've got okay weather. First of all, that's literally ideal weather to me, what you just described. Nice. Today's not bad. We'll probably go out in it today after the show. I got to figure out some stuff. I ordered something from Costco and they were like, no, you can't have it, actually. You can't have the thing you ordered, which is interesting.
Okay.
So I got to find out what that's all about. But it's on Labor Day too. And so it's like, something about your payment method or the address on your payment was wrong. So you can't have it. We canceled it. And then I go and I look on my bank and they're like, but we took the money. So. So that's weird. That's weird. And it's like, and now it's Labor Day, so it's like a pending thing. So maybe they're putting it back, but it's like, if you wanted to reorder it corrected, you got to be out the cash again.
That's so stupid. That's upsetting. Usually I have good experiences with Costco.
I have a weird comment on the most recent episode of Calling It Now, which is our vertical call-in show over on my channel. I'd like it explained to me. Jimmy's little skinny Jimmy's little skinny, oddly hairy arms crack me the fuck up. Now, that is unkind, unfair, and unasked for.
Right.
And, we all have our genetics. And if you think they're oddly hairy, I'm not going to address the smalls, but I'm a lanky man genetically. No matter how much I work out, no matter how much weight I put on, I look like one of those bristle starfish where the center mass is very thick, but all the limbs going off are crazy. I look like a frog stood up. If you want to see oddly hairy, and I'm not actually offering, but my back is ridiculous. First of all, it looks like there's this like pattern near my shoulders where it looks like I'm sprouting wings out. It's like, it like curves up and outward. So it looks like that's where the wings would come. And then it's just patch city. I have a very hairy back in a way that I don't think I've ever seen any. Okay. I don't want to say never anybody. And this is going to be a controversial take. I don't think I've ever seen a white person with the hairy back. It's the type of hairy back I have, which I think made me expect when I did my 23andMe that it'd be like, all right, let's find out. Let's find out where this comes from. But apparently, somehow Ireland, and it's not red. So it's like, what's going on back there? I don't have a clue, but it slows me down when I swim. That's what I know. That's what I know. Are all other white people waxing their backs? Men, I mean. It's got to be something.
I don't know. I think we're trying to think of.
Does your boyfriend have a hairy back?
Not a hairy back, but like some of the. Do you know that like? Never mind. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to like fly too close to the sun. Anyway, it's right. His shoulders are kind of, but like enough that when I like shaved the back of his neck because it was getting like sort of long and he didn't get a haircut yet. And then he asked me to just do like a little bit on his shoulders. And that was it. It was fine.
So itchy though.
Okay. I know.
I
well,
think
that's
he
the
regrets
thing.
it when he asks. He probably gets self-conscious when you're looking at it and then is like, why Why did I succumb to the furry shame?
Hair, I don't know. Hair is like fine. I don't care. But also, have you ever like shaved or waxed your back before? I would assume.
No, and I certainly will not.
I certainly
I've done my shoulders. I've done my shoulders before, and that was a mistake. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm used to seeing people as white as me having like very like frail body hair where it's like not like my arms are dark and oddly hairy as the person put. Like I've got a lot of it on my arms. The underside of my thighs are like carpets.
Really?
And I'm just like, I'm used to this being like, even if you go with like maybe Greek, like white people who are pretty hairy, like Greek, I would say, but I have zero Greek in me. And I'm used to white people though. With my DNA having like, you could like blow their eyebrows off. Just
right.
It's like, we can't go in the sun. We're not, this is not the thing that I know or I hope I'm protected on. And this sounds a little racist, what Jimmy's saying. I think it's okay because these are all tremendous disadvantages my people have. This would be how we as a race are inferior, not superior.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know.
Kevin's hair, like his hair looks like it's as dark as yours, and his like his arms are also like the hair on his arms is pretty dark and actually kind of thick too. Must be in the family.
Red. Sounds right. I get extremely red beard hair.
Yeah. He has it in like some parts of it are more red than others. Yeah, it's weird.
That's same with me. For me, it's like right now it looks mostly brown, but if you get close up, I can pull out crimson red hairs from this thing. Like some of the reddest reds you've ever seen, which my lips right now look bizarrely red. So does my nose a little. Anyway, maybe it doesn't look this way on your screen. I don't know. The monitor I have up here isn't exactly the best one either.
Your lips do look like look
dark.
They look like you have a lip stain on. I want my lips to be that color. I put on some
strawberry shortcake Burt's Bees, but it's not colored. It's it's that whatever. Man, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Whatever.
I mean, some fun times were had before this episode, but I don't think that has anything to do with it. I don't think I did. I don't think I bruised them.
Maybe some blood rushing to places.
That's not usually where it goes, That's usually, if it's going there, I'm usually like, no, that's not where I need you right now. No, stop. I need you elsewhere. What are you doing? Stop. I can't stand this. Anyway, we obviously took a little week off. We're back now, though, and we've got a lot to talk about. How much do you want to jump in, or do we want to slow burn back in? Do we want to see? I haven't even looked at the comments from the last episode. I don't remember what we talked about. A whole week break is like more than the amount of time I detach from anything I do. Like I've done 3 or 4 live shows since then. There was good reasons we went on that break, people. I know it never feels like it could be possible because like what reason could there be? But it was my fault. But it was the awesome warranted one with Adeline.
Yeah, it was. That's crazy. That feels like that was so long ago.
Ages ago. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm excited.
But we had a really nice time. Yeah, me too.
Great.
Me too.
Also, listen, you're probably a perfectly nice person and everything, but if the topic isn't nose rings and a person is just sort of appearing on a show and they have a nose ring, giving your negative opinion about nose rings is probably maybe just a thing you just kind of hold in. You just keep it. You just keep it to yourself because
who said something about on YouTube maybe?
Yeah, in the comments. Again, probably a perfectly nice guy otherwise, but doesn't know. Sometimes you have to learn, like there are certain things you don't, certain opinions you don't give unless asked for. Tattoos would be another one. Like apropos of nothing, a person just having tattoos and then you're taking the topic to, I don't like tattoos is kind of mean.
Yeah, anyway. I think just in general, we just don't need to make comments about people's like looks like that. Also, just be neutral about it.
There was a person who on this, and then it's either the same person or just somebody with roughly the same style of everything, upset that I'm describing Gavin Newsom as inevitable, which first of all, I'm not. But second of all, I am also a realist. So Gavin Newsom is extremely likely. He's only inevitable if the election happened today. But 3 years is a long time. And if anything, he might have shot himself in the foot by starting so early, because we've got 3 Novembers between now and the election, or 4 Octobers between now and that election, for there to be the quote unquote October surprises. And guess what? They don't even have to be in Octobers. That's a lot of time for people to like try and figure out how to like get you, how to turn people against you. But it is, I mean, if you had to pick today who it's going to be, most likely that is the case. And you can be upset about the, like, as though my being realistic about things is going to pick the president, which it's not, unfortunately. Otherwise I would try it, but I'm not going to delude myself into thinking. I think one of the people was like, stop saying that and start acting like AOC is inevitable. And it's literally like, AOC is inevitable to not get the nomination. You think after losing Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton in the last 3 elections, that you think that the DNC is going to take a shot on anything but a cishet white guy next time?
Right. Like,
yeah. Maybe Mayor Pete gets the head exception. Maybe. And even that I doubt.
We're in like a dire situation, so we have to go with someone that we know for sure has a solid chance. And unfortunately, a woman is not that right now. So
look, I'm not saying I would even necessarily make that chance. I just don't think the DNC is going to. Like, it's,
I don't think so.
We're not picking the person. If we were picking the person, you could throw a lot of that out. A Mamdani-like character. Clearly, he has populist support. Maybe not him specifically. I don't think he'd do well on the entire country stage. But yeah, as far as like, I don't think he could be elected as president. I think that would be too much of an ask. But the DNC is not going to take a chance like that. So
yeah, unfortunately.
But a lot has happened, including, like, I don't know how to talk about it sensitively. And so maybe we go insensitive about it.
I think you just say it.
Hope and joy.
Oh my God.
And elation I felt. And possibly I expressed it too much, because I'm actually currently suspended on Threads.
You are?
I'm currently in Thread jail. I submitted my appeal. It is hopefully going to, come back. I don't know if it was that or on Sunday, because it happened right around the Sunday show. There's a chance that the reason it happened was because I posted like a link with the phone number. And I think maybe they thought it was spam, because they sent me like, we need to confirm you're actually a human and not a bot doing bot things. So I assume I'm going to get it back. But
okay. So I need to be caught up a little bit. Oh no. I need to be caught up a little bit, because I was very much out of the loop of everything last week. So why did people think that it happened?
Yeah. Okay. So, and by the way, there are some people who are a level of conspiracy theorist that I am not. I got a little conspiracy coded Friday night. Not much. Keep your shirt on. The things which were reasonable to notice, I noticed, and then hoped that it meant what it might have meant. But the main thing was he had stopped appearing in public completely since like Wednesday. And he doesn't really do that. And right now has things that arguably he would usually be outgoing and doing. And so then with that combined with like the rumors of his ankles, or seeing his ankles and his hand, and a lot of things that suggest he might be going through congestive heart failure. You have these TikTok doctors being like, I've seen a guy like him. He's got less than a year left to go. That combined with then also, he just kind of stopped posting suddenly too. And so like Friday night, a time where a slew often comes in, where he loves, I mean, this is not a guy who goes more, he basically only stops posting on Truth Social to sleep, which he only sleeps usually like 3 hours a night. But we were getting up to like, even before bed, when I went to bed at like 2 a.m., I think that night, he hadn't posted anything on Truth Social for 8 hours and then didn't again the next day for quite a long time. And all we got was this picture of like, Trump is alive and well and headed to the golf course. And there's this picture where they're not letting the reporters anywhere near him. They're still, by the way, right now, keeping reporters away from him. They're not letting them get close to him. There is clearly something still going on right now. But anyway, reporters weren't allowed close. And there are people pointing out, like, it doesn't even look like him. I kind of agree it doesn't look like him, but I think it doesn't look like him in that he doesn't appear to have put the bronzer on his face. What is it? Bronze concealer. He appears to like, he has a huge hat on. A huge hat on that nobody's asking why you can't see hair spilling out like you usually can. I'm like, is that dude bald under that hat right now? Is that what it, but probably not. That's probably me getting a little conspiracy coded. Okay, that's probably a little bit much. But yeah, he's staying away from the cameras. And as of this recording, that is still true unless it's happening like right now that he's not. So basically there were heavy signs that he's at least sick. Now, could it be that he has COVID right now? I don't know. Could it be something like that and it's going to pass and he's going to be fine? Because we didn't find out much about his Walter Reed COVID experience back when that happened until after. Just we knew things were going on, but they were putting out a lot of he's doing great, blah, 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 blah. When they put out their release, like, look, here he is going to golf alive and well. We get no photos of him golfing. We get no videos. Nobody's actually near him, but he looks like he's dressed to go golfing. He looks like shit, but they're at a distance, so you can't really make it out. But he looked like shit. And that alive and well, that word well, that was the most lifting that word has done in its fucking time in existence. Like it's part of the language.
There's also, there was a tweet. Let me see who it was now. Some people are, okay. Yeah. Travis Ackers, a retired U.S. Navy intelligence officer, said that photo of him playing golf with John Gruden was from August 23rd. So it was also an old
That's not the one
picture.
I was referring to. There's no photos of him playing. Yes, people try to be like, see, he's fine. And they've started circulating old pictures and videos of him. The picture that the White House let out wasn't old, where it was like, it's him and his granddaughter heading to, I think, the car to get over there. Again, the phrase, well, like, all right, show us the holes like how many holes did he and confirm, like prove it. Don't just say how many holes did he play. I want to know how many. But I got to tell you, if you have a goal in life, hopefully one of them is to not be the person who almost sets off a weekend of parties when you pass away. Do you know what I mean? Like I was waiting for the streets to fill with adoring fans of his death. Like when Bin Laden got capped. And then the amount that the right is trying to divert from this and talk about gun control and blame trans people for school shootings, even though they keep lying. They put out this list of like 9 people and it's literally like 3 of them are actually trans, or it might be 2. And one of them was that Colorado shooter who claimed to be non-binary so that they wouldn't get the hate crime enhancements to all the people they shot in that nightclub. Basically like, well, it can't be a hate crime because I'm a part of the group kind of thing. And so they're trying to lie about that and bringing up like weird things. Like, so in when it comes to Trump's like, hey, by the way, how come nobody's brought up before? Why don't they call for more gun control when Trump got shot? To which I easily say like, no matter what I think the regulations are on guns, what they should be, no matter how much gun control I think we should be adding or changing, never do I bring it up when a pedophile almost gets clipped. Not once.
Right.
Like literally that's the like, do I still think it should happen? Sure. But are the examples that I'm going to point to going to be children tragically murdered in schools, college kids tragically murdered in colleges, mall goers, Walmart shoppers, people who are innocent, just running about their day, hate crime, like, black churches, heavily Latino area, like that one Walmart where the guy just wanted to kill brown people, wanted to kill Mexicans. Am I going to call those out with the equal fervor of like, by the way, you guys, you almost shot that pedophile president guy.
Right. A wannabe dictator who is a pedophile.
Right.
I
Like,
could give a shit. Sorry.
my bad. Like, I'm at least consistent. You go find me the time I ever called for gun control when a pedophile got it, and I will admit I was wrong. You know what I mean? Like, go, just show me that. It can't be done. Can't be done.
It's, and it's, I also don't, I don't want to get it like into conspiracy stuff, but I don't really believe that whole ear shooting thing went the way that the story was being presented. Not that I don't think that he got shot at, but all of it was weird. The fact that they don't talk about it still is weird. Like, it's so out of character for everything else. Something about it is not right. So I don't know. That whole situation is off to me. So I can't even imagine including that in a conversation about gun control.
So I don't know whether or not a bullet hit his ear, right?
Yeah.
I think something hit his ear, and I don't think there are a lot of people who are like in the conspiracy camp of like, it was a whole coordinated thing. The whole thing was like, it was a dance and he was dancing. Mm-hmm. And I've seen Trump dance. Like, Trump has no coordination. When you look at it, it is hard to figure out the exact spot that the wound actually is. The ketchup conspiracy theory is also stupid. I think he probably got nicked by something. Could have been bullet, could have been glass. But clearly it was like, the average person has probably had a worse ear injury at some point in their life. You know what I mean? Like, it's not big.
To also think that, like, it was, I don't know. Part of me is like, it doesn't make sense that they don't talk about it all the time. It doesn't make sense to me that, like, when you watch it, isn't there like a part where the bullet thing happens and then they like lower the flag right behind him, so it's like this beautiful scenic picture? Like,
I think that's just the video. I think that's just like parallax effect. So when you change the angle of a camera based on the distances, the whole like the idea that people were reacting in real time to get that photo, I don't buy into any of that.
The biggest reason why I think there's no way that it was like 100% like a planned dance situation is because there's no fucking shot in hell that the Trump administration would hire somebody to shoot at the president.
Right, that's impossible to get that good of a shot.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just it would be too perfect. But even still, something about it is weird. And so I would never use that. Even for that reason alone, I could never use that as like an argument for gun control.
There are people who think he had a razor blade in his hand. So when he puts his hand up like that, he's like, oh, and that he's nicking his ear. As though, again,
he's too much of a little bitch to even do that.
Right, too much of a little bitch. And also, that isn't the way you would fake it. Like, you wouldn't you would do something like a squib on the arm, somewhere that nobody's ever going to ask to see. Like, you're not going to put it on the ear where it's going to be like, by the way, in a week, it's going to be very conspicuous that this is missing. Anyway, it's just wild. So I have looked. I just fact checked it real quick, and it does look like it was most likely parallax effect. There isn't actually any evidence that the flag was lowered, that it came down at all. But I was a photographer before all this, so like I'm familiar with how it works. If you change the angle through the lens, it will look like it's like when you if you're driving and it looks like the moon is moving through the trees. It looks like motion, but it isn't. It's still in place. Yeah. It's based on the angle of the observer. So the like, yes, is it wild that it looks that good, right? Sure, it is. And it didn't help Kamala Harris get elected. Certainly not. But there was a history of the big flags over the place. And then people even being like weirded out that the press were allowed to move into position. That's not abnormal either. Anybody who's done like photojournalism, it's like, if in theory, and I think even when you hear the gunshots go out, you can see, if not, they were bad journalists. A lot of journalists know, like, if you're going to be the journalist, you move your camera to where the bullets are coming from and you risk getting shot in the head. Like, because you might get that once in a lifetime shot of the photo. And a lot of times like even in war zones, a lot of people know you don't clip the journalist. Like there's this internal thing of understanding, like leave that person alone. It doesn't always happen. Obviously, Israel loves killing journalists. They've been doing it like crazy. But there is that kind of thing. So them like moving and directing, like, oh, he's clearly going to be coming off here. Get over there to make sure that you can get the photos as. And people think that was them anticipating taking the flag photo. It was actually just anticipating him that's the way he would have exited the stage. So they can't get in the way of that, but they can get at a better angle of like, see if you can catch a photo of him going the way he's going.
Right.
Yeah. I don't, it's anyway, that people who are ridiculously conspiratorial on those kinds of things. Also, it happened while Biden was still president. The idea that like all of that would have been going on and just there would be no good way to like reveal it, that the Democrats, it would be in their best interest to have not been calling for at least investigations into it is too conspiracy minded for me. And it just isn't necessary. Like it's not, he was going to win, honestly, even if that had to happen, by the way. Like,
yeah.
So
unfortunately,
I'm just not on it. I'm just not with it.
Not with it.
Anyway, try to live your life in a way that a lot of the world won't throw a party. Remember the Bin Laden night? All those people in Times Square. It looked like New Year's.
I don't. I was really young, I think, when that happened, so I don't totally remember. But I think
when Bin Laden got killed, like New York looked like New Year's Eve, and it was just people just screaming.
But it's also crazy. It's crazy to think of like that being an equal response as the president of the United States.
I think it'll put it to shame when he dies. I think it'll actually look better.
I know.
I think it's going to be more.
And then when we are celebrating, you know that the right is going to be like, someone died. He's a dad. He's a dad. I'm like, okay.
I think it was Laura Loomer. It could have been somebody else, but who tweeted like, I can't believe, like, was like pearl clutching, like, this is so disgusting and just shows how hateful the Democrats are. And then somebody was like, this you? And it was retweeting her from like 3 years ago being like, is Biden dead yet? And they're like, so listen, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
It's the lack of self-awareness for me. Like also the genocide and the fucking authoritarianism and the fascism. But it is the lack of awareness for me, self-awareness, that I'm like, how is anybody voting for this? Like from the outside, how do you not look in and go, okay, I'm on the wrong side. These guys don't even know who they are. They don't know what their values are, and they are hypocrites for breakfast. It's like they're like, they got a scorecard. They're like, I got to do 9 hypocrisies before lunchtime. Otherwise, I don't get a almond joy with dinner.
Oh my God. It's just, I think they're just in a cyclone of their own community, and so they're just hearing like this echo chamber response. Like I saw some crazy shit after the school shooting recently that I've literally one friend who is Trumpy, and it's like my only personal outlet into the content that people on that side consume. Every now and then she posts something and I'm like,
I will say that lack of self-awareness and hypocrisy makes my job extremely easy. When I'm doing these debates now on Calling It Now, that's pretty much all I'm doing is literally like, they'll make a claim and I will prove to them that they don't have that value and that they are hypocrites. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by the amazing people on patreon.com/calltheline, where you can get the show ad-free and you get the extended episodes where we do bonus shows, which is most of the time. Head over to patreon.com/calltheline and sign up today. Would you like to be one of the cool people who can
Here we go again. We're back, everybody. And I'm tired. I'm sorry if I'm like, it's one of those things where I think people probably listen to us on the way to work, and be safe. Hope I'm not sedating you with my dulcet tones. Welcome everybody to The Line Has a Podcast.
Wow.
It's still September 2nd. Unless you're on Patreon, you might have gotten it slightly before it technically was September 2nd, maybe.
You just made me yawn.
Did I? Did I yawn first? Or was I talking in my tones? I don't know.
You were just talking. Did you know? You don't remember if you yawned?
How would I know? Do you think about that? I don't remember how many breaths I took in the last. Those are automatic functions, aren't they?
Yeah, but like, I don't know. You could like see yourself. Now I'm talking about yawning, so I'm yawning again.
There we go. Sorry, people, if you're driving to work, if you got to get to something a little brighter.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
And I was going to say, like, let's up the energy, but also the next topic, it would feel very weird to up the energy for. But we're going to be talking about the right-wing response to, I mean, you probably already know because, and we would have talked about it already had we done a show last week, but we didn't, about the shooting on August 27th. This happened in Minnesota at a school-wide mass for the Annunciation Catholic Church. This was in Minneapolis. A gun person, I don't really know what to do with their gender identity because they apparently didn't, according to their little manifesto. Anyway, open fired, killed an 8 and a 10-year-old, as well as injuring 18 others. There's a very like beautiful story of one kid getting covered by another kid. Their best friend was protecting them. That kid did get shot, but is recovering in the hospital. And then the shooter, after firing about 120 rounds, took their own life, which it's one of those things where I'm always, anytime the shooting ends that way, I'm literally just like, just start that way.
Right. What was the fucking point?
I mean, even think about the difference in how people, like, you took your own life. Now everybody's just mad you did that because they want you to face justice. If you'd just done that at the beginning, there would have been a sympathy before you left. Like, people would be like, oh, this is very tragic. A person who was clearly going through a lot of stuff with mental illness, not having to do with being trans. You know, they're gone. I don't get it. I don't get why you would opt for the, like, let me just leave and make sure that anytime my name comes up amongst any of my family or friends for the rest of my life, their lives, it's literally just filled with like heartbreak and hatred and like how fucking what a piece of shit you are. Anyway, the assailant identified as Robin Westman, at the time, I believe, registered as a transgender woman, born with a different name, had transitioned, but in the manifesto describes not wanting to be a trans woman anymore, but also not wanting to cut their hair, and then describing what they think they are, that they're not, they don't feel right saying they're a woman, but they don't feel right saying they're a man either. And sometimes they do want to appear one way, basically describing, it's funny because they describe being very confused about a concept that with access to the correct resources isn't unknown now, like gender fluidity. Yeah. And so there seems to be a lack of access to pretty easy to obtain resources now, even for an adult, which may be because of the insulation from those, because what a lot of people on the right aren't liking to mention is that it would look like in every other way you would expect this person to be right wing, but because they had gender identity, we'll say issues, they just automatically go, this is a person for the left. This is a person for the left. They're a leftist. They're a Democrat. They're a leftist. They're a liberal. They're a Democrat. They're socialist. They're a communist. And yet, that isn't what I think you had some thoughts, and then we'll continue to go in to what.
Yeah, I think the crazy thing about the right using this person's confusion around their gender identity, and saying like, this is why, this is the problem. They're forcing the gay stuff on all of us, which, like, what the fuck are you talking about? But the reason why, it's just proving it's like you said, it's just proving what we have been saying all along, which had you given this person support and resources, and had there been examples of people who are living in a gender fluid space, like Colascola, like people like that, where they are able to be a little bit flexible with what their gender is and what it means to them. If those people were more embraced, then someone like this could have had an opportunity to explore that in a safe environment. But instead, this was a really tragic and heartbreaking outcome for them. And for those children, obviously.
By the way, as far as things that this person was prior to this very passionate about, gun rights was one of them, which I am pro-gun regulation, but I don't believe in disarmament. At a certain point, if you go down the leftist rabbit hole, you kind of like, I've gone so far left. Let's go ahead and bring those guns back. Workers shouldn't be disarmed. But as far as who they have supported in the past, there is a now deleted video of Westman, the shooter, supporting a gun rights activist named Brandon Herrera, who was a Republican congressional president. And so in Texas. And so it is one of those things where it's like, you know, anything that we have to point to the actual political things, while clearly hated Donald Trump also, the rest of the messages with all the anti-Catholic, all the anti-Semitic stuff on there, the Holocaust embracing had a crazy phrase like 6 million wasn't enough written on one of their gun magazines. Yeah, it's absolutely like extreme fascist right-wing stuff. But also, I wouldn't even blame the Republicans for this person, because this person was clearly like fucked up. I blame the Republicans for how much the access to weapons and how little access to education and healthcare. But as far as like the actual making the person crazy like that, this person seems to be crazy, like have a crazy brain. Should they have had very good access to the healthcare and, including therapy, mental health care, like taking care of your brain, guaranteed as being a citizen? Yes. And is that on the Republicans? Yes. And is the ease in which they were able to get a human killer easy? Yes. And was the non-response to gun crimes at like schools killing children in the past and not coming up with actual solutions to make this kind of thing harder to happen and less encouraged to happen if you want to go out with a bang and be famous? Is that also the Republicans' fault? Yes. And some of those Democrats at least get partial blame for too, but most of the time if they could have done anything, they would have been stopped by either a Supreme Court or not having enough people. But trust me, there are plenty of NRA Democrats. So it's kind of like some Democrats and virtually all Republicans very responsible for a lot of those things. But for the person actually just being fucking crazy and having this obsession with specifically killing children and all that stuff, they get a pass on that. And that's not something that they absorbed from a Republican message. There was no Republican or Democrat or leftist or liberal or conservative progressive message of like, you know what's dope, going and killing kids in a Catholic church. Like that's not right. That's not something, that specific thing doesn't get associated with an ideology. That's just being fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's sort of useless to me to include someone's like political status in something like this because it feels so unrelated to me. But the bigger issue is the access to the weapons and the access to mental health resources, which again, like over and over again, it frustrates me that when we say that we need access to mental health resources, there are people on the right who will hear that and like dismiss it as nothing, dismiss it as like soft and snowflakey and whatever. But then when you say that it's not the guns, it's mental health issues, and so that you're putting the entire responsibility on mental health issues, you can't have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways.
Yeah.
You then take it seriously then.
There's also the conversations to have about the people in the past where it's like, I remember years ago, I had a policy of like, I'm never naming the shooter ever on a show. And then basically just gave up on it because there was no practical reason to do that, because by the time I'm making a point about it, you've already heard the name from mainstream media and on Twitter and everywhere else 100 times. And so it's kind of like we were having those conversations early on when you are shutting down an entire week at times. Back in the day, it used to be a long time. Like when Columbine first happened, we were talking about it for months, and then like it's gone to less and less and less. And then we get down to just mere days, or as far as mainstream media goes, it might just be a day or two, sort of this because it's become so familiar. But now it is such a like, hit it to the airwaves, get all the ratings you can, be the first to name the shooter. And one of the things mentioned was in the journal entries, this shooter was obsessed with previous shooters and idolized them and actually like named some of them in their writings that they were obsessed with. And so even the culture around making school shooters infamous, as I was saying somewhat, I don't want to use the word jokingly, but I guess somewhat facetiously at the beginning, why not just take yourself out? Why not just start with the suicide instead of ending with it? But the truth is, with Robin, that was the design. The thing was, I want that level of infamy because that's what I am. I am obsessed with the people who did go through it with it and then capped out. So very, very much just a hateful, evil, super fucked up person. And all of that has nothing to do with them being trans. But it is interesting now because you have a lot of people trying to say like, oh, we need to investigate why trans people are, including one of those weirdos on Twitter saying all trans people need to be taken into custody until we figure out why they keep becoming school shooters. When it's literally like, okay, well, by your logic, then we basically just need to start probably just executing cis white men. If we're going to go with your logic, since they are the overwhelming majority and men in general are over 90%, it's like 99%. And so like, why is it that when this tiny group of people are apart, still a smaller percentage of trans people are school shooters than the percentage of trans people that exist in society? So they aren't over proportionately represented. White guys are. There are more white men, cis het white guys committing mass shootings than there are percentage wise. So, you know, do I have to kiss a boy to get out of when they come? Like, Jimmy, you're looking like you're one of the, and I'm just like, I'll make out with that guy right now. Let me bring your officers over here. Let me pick one. Okay. I'll
resolve this very quickly.
I'm not an any guy will do. And my standards are higher because I think you're all bastards, but, you know.
But, you know,
Timothy
willing to try.
Willing to try. You got a handsome officer, Timothy. He's looking good. I saw he's very nice to his police dog because, and I like that because a lot of fucking cops are shitty. Their police dogs.
Know.
Yeah.
I saw someone on some, I don't know, TikTok, Reels, whatever, saying that he was like, you know, all the Democrats saying that this is the reason for gun control, they don't even understand. This shooting is exactly the reason why we need to arm everyone. Are you so
as has always worked.
When we were going into the break, I was talking about how I have one friend who is like Trumpy and is not super overt about it, but will post stuff like she posted something like women for an account that was like women for gun rights. So it's stuff like that where I'm like, and what that account had shared was like something to the degree of arm the teachers, arm the security guards, put security at every school door. You're going to turn the United States into a fucking war ground. These schools are going to be battlefields.
Right.
What are you how is that the solution?
It's like watching old like plays or movies of like the Three Musketeers where like everybody casually has a sword on their side. And it's like, what was it like back then? This is fucking horrible. That everyone just at any given time, I'm ready for a duel at any moment. What if I have to unsheath?
You cannot so seriously think that is a better, more evolved society, one where we're just fucking shooting each other.
Yeah.
And how are you?
How safely, how secure are these guns on people's hips? How much are they making sure that they have regular maintenance, that the gun isn't going to be even just like an unexpected danger? These are people who can't remember you're not supposed to put condoms in your wallet.
But also,
and the children of people who didn't know that.
For people who don't want guns. If you are a teacher, you signed up to be a teacher for children. And you don't want to, you didn't sign up to be a fucking police officer. You signed up to be a teacher. I don't want to have to teach you how to use a gun to defend your students. That's not what you asked for. That's not the job you signed up for. So why would that be what we're requesting them to do or requiring them to do?
Put more guns in the schools. That'll help.
Right. We're already having a hard time. We are already having a hard time having enough teachers in this country. You really think the solution is to then request that they all are armed?
Right.
What are you talking about?
We had a caller calling on Sunday too, who was like, well, I hate to say it, but the association's like good guys with guns. And it's like, and I was like, nope, you already lost that one. In Uvalde, you had over 300 police made up of local cops, ATF, Border Patrol, and other institutions. And not only did they not run in, parents who were like, okay, if you're not going in, I am. They stopped the parents from going in as kids were actively still alive, who would then die because the police didn't act faster. And so he tried to just make up this whole new, okay, but they're maybe not the right guys too, because they serve this other. And so it's got to be like veterans who and we're literally like, lots of cops are veterans. No, but they're a part of that. And so it's this, and I pointed out, like, you're inventing a superhero that doesn't exist. Yeah. You're basically saying like, these super people who don't currently exist, that we can't currently rely on, we got to go out and find them and make 1 million Jason Bournes and put them in all the schools. And it's literally like, you are so fucking redacted at this point. It's just like, it's like there have been shooting after shooting. When Uvalde happened, I'm trying to remember where it was. It was somewhere in the north. It might have been like Nebraska or somewhere crazy like that. But I remember we had been talking up until that point about another shooting where the cop heard the gunshots and instead of running toward him, ran to his car and was like calling. And then even after calling for backup, like more people died because that one cop ran from the shots. Yeah. So like whatever your expectation is of having the guns around hasn't helped. It just does. And so I don't know. It's just it's wild now that it's like, when I grew up, we did shooter drills in school. For sure. But it was still like the expectation and feeling was we're doing a drill in case we're the one who gets unlucky, and in case we're the 1 in a million. And now the attitude is totally shifted to like, you're doing drills for when it happens. Yeah. When it happens, when this school has to lock down because there is a danger on the school's grounds, we're ready. Maybe not everyone's going to be because of mass shooting, but a person is there with a weapon and we have to lock down. This is what you need to do to be ready. So here's the school shooter one. And it's different from the, like, you have to learn that one, the fire one, the earthquake one, like all the different ones. And it's just, it's wild. It's wild that like when you're doing the fire drill, you're like, okay, if something accidentally happens in the kitchen, for some reason, me on the other side of the school, I got to go out to the parking lot. So that probably will happen. But like an actual fire endangering me, that if we didn't do this, I'll die. Nobody's expecting that. You are more expecting a shooter. That is the attitude you have as a kid than a fire. And that was even true back then. Now it's like, do we even need to do the fire drills? Because that would be a waste of a good active shooter drill. If we're going to be doing drills that day, shouldn't we go with the one that's probably going to happen?
I know.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
We did have a lockdown once because of a person spotted in the air, mysterious person spotted with a gun, but I don't think anything ever came of it.
We've had lockdowns in my school for bomb threats.
Sure.
Which like, you know, I don't think that those are real.
Usually that's like, I want out of a test kind of thing. It's exam day kind of thing.
Yeah. But you know what was always so weird about when that would happen is we would have a lock in, like we would have to stay in the school and, you know, hide in the corners or whatever. But then after that, we'd have to go back to class. Like that wasn't the most fucking traumatic thing we've experienced where we have to just like wait in the corner and hope that it isn't actually a bomb. And then they're like, okay, everything's all set. So we're going to have a pop quiz on Hamlet. Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah. 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 But just back to it. You guys aren't dysregulated right now. You'll be fine.
Like, I don't know.
My last thought on it, with that same caller who'd called in, was actually pretty good to talk to and admitted some things, but like had to start with admitting that Trump actually was worse on taxes and for small businesses, and that he had been fooled into thinking he was going to be better when we explained to him the differences in what he would have had access to under Kamala Harris as a small business owner. He was a handyman. So he's getting fucked right now by like the cost of like softwoods from Canada. He's getting fucked by gypsum costs. He's getting fucked by tool costs. I know, because those are all things I spend money on for my wood shop, and I'm getting fucked. Anyway, and so we talked about that and how the tariffs are fucking him. And so he acknowledged by the end, he's like, well, yeah, now I know. But then even with the gun control thing, he was like, but I had to vote against the Democrats coming for the guns. It was like, nobody is. Nobody's coming for your guns. Nobody has proposed for it. Except Donald Trump. Donald Trump keeps proposing things the NRA is against, like taking away guns of people who a judge says like, okay, they look like they might be a threat from domestic violence or a mental health breakdown or something like that, which by the way, I'm for. I'm actually for a lot of those things. Obviously, it's going to be disproportionately used under the Trump administration, but Donald Trump is the one who's proposed them and Kamala Harris didn't. But then when going through it with the guy, it's like, look, we went through like, do you believe people should be able to have nukes? No, obviously not. Okay, great. Machine guns? No, obviously not. Grenade launchers? Like, well, if you are properly trained and the government is tracking who has them and it's well regulated, maybe you're ex-military, you're well trained, you've proven you can do it safely. It's like, I'd be open to like certain people under certain circumstances, private citizens being able to buy grenade launchers. And I basically said, look, I don't agree with you, but let's just go with that. You can't use grenade launchers in short distance, right? You literally, so if somebody's attacking you, you can't use it for self-defense because the explosion will kill you too. It has to be like, so how much you can actually kill with a grenade launcher versus like an assault rifle is actually less for if you were going to go into a school because you'd be putting yourself in too much danger in an enclosed building like that. So an assault rifle actually has more potential, is more dangerous. So why are you willing to say license, regulate, have at least the amount of training that you are required to have a car, have insurance, all that stuff, but not on a gun? He's like, well, when you say it like that, yeah, I would be fine with like, if you're going to have an assault rifle, you should have to like prove you know how to use it, safely keep it, that like you're trained and you're licensed and that's all kept track of. And I'm like, bro, you said you voted against gun control. That's literally what gun control is. That's the proposals of gun control is if you have to have a license to have a car, because if you don't, you could kill somebody. A machine designed to kill lots of people, even if we just start there with just the ones that are clearly for human killing, the ones that are assault rifles where you're trying to, because you don't need the same type of quote unquote assault rifle for hunting. Something bolt action is fine for hunting because you don't have to be able to go, as fast as your finger can go. And I'm a person who has hunted before. People are like, this is a person who has no idea what they're, first of all, bolt action rifles are often better anyway, but I digress. You don't need that shit. So even if we just start with the semiotic, as fast as you pull the trigger, you put a thing that you have to have a license, that you have to prove you are storing it safely, that there is a registry, that if somebody commits the crime with that gun, they can run it and figure out whose it was. All things we don't have. In fact, I've lived in multiple states. I don't know if Texas has one or not. Texas has never asked me what guns I brought from Colorado or Wyoming.
Wow.
Colorado never asked me. Wyoming and Colorado have laws against registering. So the government can't say, hey, this gun, unless I think that I've committed a crime and they can like as evidence. But say they're just like, oh, we're just going to make a note. The gun with this serial number we have confirmed is in the possession of Jimmy Snell. They can't. That's illegal. Anything that even resembles a registry is illegal. And one of my guns is one of those guns that I think needs to, at the minimum, have that licensing things, if not be completely banned, right? Like I have at least one gun that probably should be, but I'm not going to be surrounded by people who have those things and not have one too. That's how I feel about it. In Texas, I'm in rural Texas. I'm getting closer to rural. I'm less rural than I used to be. But the old place I lived. Anyway, that's kind of it's funny how like when you actually explain to people what the positions are without telling them what you're talking about, like, yeah, well, of course I would be for that. And it's literally like, my brother in Christ. That's gun control.
It's the same thing with like defunding the police. It's the phrasing that really trips people up, I guess. I don't know.
Because they don't want to bother to do one step more of
one Google search.
This guy's like finding out he has a more radical proposal because Kamala Harris didn't even believe in that. Kamala Harris was bragging about the guns she has on talk shows. Right? She wasn't coming for guns at all. Biden got in trouble because he told his wife on TV, if somebody's breaking in, go commit this gun crime. Go shoot a shotgun in the air twice outside. That'll run them off. That's illegal in Pennsylvania at the very least. It's just you guys are just you didn't make it up. Okay, we'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Would you like to be one of the cool people who can prove they were supporting this podcast right from the beginning? Well, you can. Head over to linemerch.com. That's linemerch.com and pick up some Founders merch for The Line as a podcast that will only be available for a short time and features the rough draft drawn logo that soon will be updated to look less like it was drawn by a 3-year-old. That's linemerch.com.
Welcome back, everybody.
Other terrible things happening in Minnesota. Do you remember that lady? Well, I'm trying to remember her name. Shelby something. Why are they not? So they'll name the shooters, but they won't just. The AP won't just put this lady's name. They're just referring to her as the woman.
Which woman?
Where is she? Do you remember the lady who used the N-word against? Wow, they really aren't putting the name in there.
Is this the woman who used the N-word and then she made like a GoFundMe or whatever?
Yeah, well, but a go send shit, like a give send go, where they are happy to do it for, people now like that fascist that was on the Mehdi Hassan thing, which we still have to do the video for.
I know. I came across my notes for that video and I was like, we still need to do this.
We got to do that. She has raised over $800,000 because people were mean to her on the internet. They were trying to cancel her. Yeah. She has now been charged with, but it's just not going to Shiloh. It was Shiloh. Shiloh Hendricks was this lady's name, who we should shame. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, AP, that you're keeping? Am I just missing it somewhere? No, yeah. They just totally left it out. Like, we're not going to name this person who has raised $800,000. And
for
the name of her for what do you mean? For what?
Like, when she raised $800,000, was it because
she was saying, like, we have to protect our family and relocate from the people who are trying to cancel us and be mean. And it was literally like, they just kept putting it up and up. Now the goal is at $1 million, but she's raised over 800,000. So she has now officially been charged, but the charges are like these minor things of disorderly conduct. 3 charges. The maximum potential penalty is 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. So, hopefully you get a judge who's like, all right, well, clearly if she's found guilty, which I would hope she would, be like, well, clearly, like, for this to actually stick and you regret it, we have to give you the maximums, because right now it looks like you actually are delighted you did it, as you're out there posting things about how excited you are. Let me see if I can find that quote from her. Big things are happening regarding our future, she wrote. Life-changing events are at play, and we have all of you to thank for that. I won't go into specifics, but just know that all is well on our end. Keep standing up for yourselves and keep fighting for the First Amendment. Keep fighting for the First Amendment, which protects me from social consequences, from being a blatant fucking racist and calling a child the N-word multiple times, attacking a disabled child with the N-word, and then the adult who intervened. Like, are you fucking serious? That's what you think the First Amendment is for?
Anytime a Republican talks about the First Amendment and protecting the First Amendment, they are always talking about it with social consequences. It's never like it's like your First Amendment is still protected because guess what? You're not in fucking jail.
The founding fathers were fucking savages to each other over the words they said, and were what you would call canceling today. They literally like had their own places in the press that they could go write. Like, fucking go watch Hamilton. It even mentions it, but literally you can go back and read. Some of them used pseudonyms and some didn't, but they would attack each other so hard over the words. And it wasn't like, oh, guys, they're bringing that negative attention to me and now people are getting mad at me. That's violating my First Amendment rights. Like, you're just a fucking big ass piece of shit. The First Amendment means that the police can't arrest you for your speech. And that's not, it's not universal. There are clearly limits to that. You can't be like, hey, let's go. If you speech that's like you planning crimes and shit like that, those still happen. And speech that are meant to incite and be disruptive. And then when you're at a children's park trying to be violently disruptive. Fucking like, you're just such a piece of fucking shit. And this is the people the Nazis, they've made rich. They made a Nazi rich. The Nazis getting together and they're like, well, we're all a bunch of white trash, but we can, person at a time. You know, they were doing lots of donations of like $14 or $88 to make sure that people knew they were Nazis. For people who don't know, those are both Nazi numbers. It's been tough for a lot of people who are, this year would be 37 years old. They've gone through life until you know that. You don't know to not put your birth year as part of your username.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that
if you were
sucks.
born in 88, you don't want to end your username with that. Just so for the record, don't.
I didn't know that until recently, so that would be really rough.
Yeah, but you weren't born in 88.
No. I was born in 93.
If you're 37 years old, people are going to start bottling your blood. They'd be like, fucking, what the fuck? How?
Oh my God. No, I have some time for that.
I look great for 60 years old. However, I'm 35. But I look great for 60. Like, Jesus Christ.
You do. You look great
if I was
for
60, people would be like, damn. Unfortunately, I look rough for 35.
No, you don't. You look great. Come on.
I feel mad that I lost some of my best years. Well, both to the health stuff, like if I got my health stuff in order and lost all the weight and stuff, and then like COVID, like shutting down. It's like, man, I lost some like premium like experience years going out and doing stuff. Think about that a lot. I mean, I lost all of my 20s to my illness pretty much. And like the thought of traveling and stuff and all that.
You didn't miss that much. I don't know. I think that your 20s are, when I look at my 20s, I'm like, ugh, you couldn't pay me to do that shit again. Maybe I would do it again and do things differently, but I wouldn't want to affect like how my life is now.
I think per year, you probably have at least 2 memories of traveling somewhere. Because haven't you always been kind of a traveler? I don't have any of that.
Yeah, I guess.
The first time I left,
the traveling.
Like, when we moved from Louisiana as a teenager to Wyoming, like after that, the amount of like leaving even Wyoming at first, I left Wyoming. I mean, occasionally I go to Fort Collins, which was in Colorado, 40 minutes away. So it's like leaving Wyoming. But otherwise, I went twice to Utah for Mormon shit. And then pretty much not a whole lot else until I was an adult and living in Denver. And my first like big going multiple states away was going from Denver to Austin to go check things out. Like see if I was going to move there. Like that's pretty much, I'm sure there's a couple things I'm missing, but there's no like traveling for the sake of travel. There was no vacationing, any of that stuff, which would have been nice to have had at least 1 or 2 of those experiences. Obviously, a lot of people don't get to do any of that stuff, but I'm saying the option to have experiences and even what it could have done for, I've always wanted to pursue my own company and job and stuff. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff would have made better.
Yeah.
Prevented me from being a wedding photographer. The type of photography I had to do, it had to be wedding photography when it worked. And wedding photography is where like 90% of the photo. If you're making a lot of money as a photographer, you're probably a wedding photographer. Yeah.
But I think you can do so much of that now at your age and enjoy it in my opinion, more fulfilling way. Because you have no.
Why? Oh, you got real fuzzy and your sound got weird.
Did it?
Yeah.
Am I back?
Like cutting. I think. I don't know. You're fuzzy again, though. You look fuzzy.
Really?
Like Voldemort for a second. Yeah, on my end. Hopefully it's recording better. But your battery's good?
Yeah, like it looks fine on mine, so hopefully it's recording well. Yeah, my battery's fine. But yeah, I think like, I don't know. Being in your 20s is so confusing, and so like your confidence is all over the place. Like you're not really making enough money to do those things. Like I don't know. It's just
Alyssa, I appreciate the insight, but I really feel like being not sick in my 20s would have been better.
Well, for sure. Not being not sick, yes, but I think that there is a bright spot in that you could do things now and enjoy them just as much, if not more.
Maybe. I mean, I'm still working on being able to travel. We're not there yet, but now I've got a whole fucking company of people who can't monitor a fucking notification hub and get their shit in on time. You people! You're getting me. It's amazing I have all my hair. Tracking down atheists because you can't herd these fuckers. Anyway, I
We
love
are
my
born
job.
and bred, rebels. What are you going to do?
Yeah, rebels from, what's the word I'm looking for? They're like really just brain farted rebels from, commitments and responsibilities. Like, we're just rebelling. Not you. Alyssa's not part of the problem. Not usually. Very
Not
rarely.
usually.
Sometimes.
I try.
No, she's
I
great.
try.
She's amazing. I probably wouldn't say it in front of anybody who does, like, Jesus fucking Christ. Can you get a form in on time? It's okay. Everybody's waiting on you, though. It's fine. It's fine.
I
people.
know. It's not great.
Yeah, it's not. But we're potentially solving it. And now there will be no excuses. Now it'll be like, if we're literally hiring a person or making a part of one of our people's jobs to wrangle you and remind you of things in a much shorter term and you still mess it, it's like, bro, then go. You gotta
You'd have
go
to be
jump
trying,
off into the sun. Yeah. Anyway, I shouldn't be vended. Everybody's wonderful and it's otherwise nice. Just sometimes things are stressful. Right now, for example, and I'm tired. I clearly did not sleep well. Let's make that the final segment. Jimmy checks what his aura ring says his sleep was like. Let's see, how did I score? I'm feeling like, making my way
I'm really
downtown,
tired too.
sleeping
you know what? I fucked up because I took a sleep gummy, which I know that you have feelings about those, but I took that gummy and then I woke up really early anyway, and so now it just made me drowsy.
The waking up early, making you drowsy adds up. I just think that what people say melatonin does and what melatonin actually does, it's kind of like years. I've always been very suspicious of the people who think protein is the magic chemical when it turns out fiber is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, protein's good, but fiber's, everything you think that makes protein magic is what makes fiber magic. It's somebody who does not get enough fiber. Anyway, I am quite short on both my deep sleep and my REM, but my partner, oh my God, my partner gets so much REM and so much deep compared to me. I was like, we track with rings. Over 2 hours of both a night. And I can never, you're supposed to get an hour and a half of REM minimum. I never hit that. And an hour 15 or an hour 20 of deep. And I never hit that. Not never, but I rarely hit either of them. And she frequently double hits. Gets double the nightly needed. I'm like, you're going to live to 100 years old, which means you're going to live half of your life with me dead because I am not going to make it.
Kevin's the same. He sleeps so well all the time, and he can sleep for 11, 12 hours at once if he wants to, and I cannot. My body wakes me up.
Does it not fuck up when he then goes to sleep the next day too?
It does. He goes to sleep at crazy times.
Yeah.
His sleep schedule is non-existent. And I think part of it is you do too. I get texts from you at the craziest times. What are you doing? But he has a little bit of an excuse because when he tours, they travel through different time zones. So I think he's just used to sleeping whenever he can. But it's not great. I
feel like sleep habits are solidified in childhood. I hear you. That's what his adult looks like. But I almost feel like we gravitate toward things that can accommodate our sleep rather than the other way around. I think the egg came before the chicken.
If it helps, he's toured since he was 14, 15 years old.
Sure. I know I've had sleeping problems since I was 9. I've been and my parents just never, my dad would always be like, so you're saying if we just moved to Hawaii right now, your time would lock in and you'd be perfect forever. I'm literally like, no, but I guess for a week, probably, which it does turn out. When I can realign to my sleep schedule that I like a good morning schedule, I'm a morning person if I'm doing that. And I can hold on to that for a few weeks, sometimes even a couple months. But at some point, my brain just gets pulled back out of sync with it and it gets fucked. And it has something to do with other stuff. But my dad, the king of oversimplifying everybody's medical situation to the point where he got his first migraine when he was 63. And at that point, he was like, oh, maybe I should have had more sympathy for you guys because migraines runs through my mom's side of the family. So I was and he was just like, yeah, this is terrible. That was awful. And it's literally like, you fucking privileged ass. And this is the guy who what loves to say the whole oh, well, when we die, whoever suffered so much when we realized that this life was but a vapor, it only seems large on the scale now. I'm like, what a privileged fucking take, you asshole.
Yeah.
To be able to like give, like not worry about suffering, because in the future life, this life will have been so fleeting, it won't have mattered at all. You haven't proven that there is a future life, first of all. And second of all, again, as a person who apparently has never had a migraine, didn't have medical issues until literally like somehow being extremely overweight, didn't even hit sleep apnea till his late 50s, didn't hit like any other real big medical complications till his 60s. Like, you've lived a very privileged life. Fuck off with your like other people's extreme suffering will seem like nothing in the grand scheme of eternity. Like, you privileged douchebag. You really made those starving kids with the parasites in their eyeballs. It's like, oh, it'll be over before we know it. And yet any problem like, you have is the biggest thing everyone has to stop their world for.
Right.
I should have, man, if I could go back and just anytime he's angry, just be like, why are you angry? This life is but a vapor. Why are you emotionally investing so much in this? It's going to be over.
I wish you could give it right back.
Bruh.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
All right, well, that's it. Thank you for watching and everything. We'll head over to the bonus show and we'll have a little catch up, little social chat ski, see how people are doing. Besides tired, you just yawned. You're the yawner. You're the one setting it off.
I know. I'm very sleepy today. I've had quite a bit of coffee. I've had quite a bit of coffee, but I wonder if I should have like one more.
I raw dog life. I wish I could say it as awkwardly as Mark Zuckerberg did in his interview. It's like, do you like coffee? He's like, sometimes I will have some like on vacation, just recreationally, but no. Otherwise, like, yeah, he called it recreational coffee, and then he's like, no,
you're such a loser.
Like, my sister likes to say, I'm raw dogging life. Where are the laughs? Are the laugh guys outside? You guys have to be quiet because you're professionals? Oh, you don't have to be quiet? You usually laugh? You're just quiet now? Okay. Sorry.
He sucks.
That was the podcast. We just raw dogged this podcast. Sorry.
We just raw dogged this podcast.